Hey guys, welcome back to Medical Coding with Blue. Today's episode is all about how I handle the stress of being a medical coder. If you are brand new to my channel, welcome. I am Blue, I'm a medical coder. So these tips that I'm going to be talking about today is what has helped me to be able to handle my stress in work, my work life, and in my personal life. So I hope these are helpful for you, but let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so there's a couple of ways that I handle stress. And the first way is mitigating the stress before it happens. The way that I do that is by maintaining my own personal health by exercise and eating right. So the first thing that I do is I start my day at 5:45 a.m. because I have to be to work at 7. And so this is plenty of time for me to get up, get a little exercise in, get ready, and get to work on time. So I have started working out with a YouTuber named GROWWITHJO. Joe is J-O. I will leave the link for her channel in the description box below. She has these really fun, short workouts that are really good, and it has helped me, honestly, because since I've started working out with her, I do feel myself a lot more calmer, especially in the morning, because I have started my day by working out, and that is the start of a very productive day for me. My days do not end when I get home. My days often end at 11:45 at night. I try to get into bed sooner than that, but a lot of times my days stop at 11:45. So these are long hours during the day. So I'm trying to be really conscious about getting more sleep, because sleep is very important for any adult and any child really too, because sleep is where your body gets restored. And I know for myself, I know exactly how much sleep that I need. And I believe that it varies from person to person, but for me, I try to be really conscious about that. So starting my day at 5:45 and being able to get that exercise in, get ready, get dressed, get going, then I'm good. I'm good for the rest of the day. I have been taking my lunch breaks to go on walks at work, because again, it helps me to stay productive, and it does help me to stay motivated during the day. Sometimes it's really easy to get sluggish, especially if you working in medical coding, you're sitting there at a computer all day and you're having to really concentrate. And so it can cause you to feel tired because you're using a lot of mental energy to get this stuff done and get it done right. And not only that, you have to stay on top of your production. And not only that, for me, I have lots of people coming in and out of my office all day long. So I do have my own office, and that's great because my providers need a place to come to me to be able to ask them questions, or ask me questions really, and be able to do all those things. So it does help me. And again, taking that 30 minutes that I have of break for lunchtime just to go around, get back to my desk, and get working again is a really great thing for me. Because again, having that time where I'm outside getting a little bit of sun, it does help, and it does help to relieve a lot of pressure and stress that it can start to creep on, because you are put under production standards. There are meetings that you do have to go to, and you do have a boss to be able to answer to. And sometimes it's not always the easiest thing, because you have to deal with everybody and their attitudes, correct, right? So when you have to deal with other people's attitudes, the other way that I balance the stress is that I have learned not to take things personally. Does it upset me when somebody is having a bad day so they take it out on me? Of course. But then I remind myself that it is not about me. That person is going through something, so it is on them. So what I do is to lower the stress level for myself is I make sure that I limit my contact with that person for a little while, until I have felt like, okay, maybe they're in a little bit better mood today. So that helps me, because that's putting the control back into my own my own way of doing things. Because being around people who are stressed out and they're getting upset with you, it does nothing but upset you more. So again, limiting the amount of time that I have around those people has really helped to bring my stress level down. And anything that I have to talk to that person about, whether it's my boss or whether it's a provider, it can wait, especially when I know that they're not in the best mood to be able to answer questions. Okay, I'm going to remove myself from this situation and I'm going to handle it another day, because there is always another day to handle things. So that's what I tell myself. And so that's what works for me. So again, catching it before it starts, and it is a good way to be able to limit your stress level. Eating right. Eating right is so very important, especially for us medical coders. Now, you may think, well, we don't have a physical job. We're not outside. No, but we do have the ability to be able to watch what we eat and watch what we drink. Because if you are sitting there all day long drinking coffee, well, I have been guilty of having a couple of cups of coffee. Some days I will do that. That's very rare. I will typically deal with my 1 tumbler, which is 16 ounces of coffee. That is two servings of coffee, technically. But like I said, rarely will it be that I have a second one. And it's usually like if I really want it. But if you're sitting there drinking coffee all day, or you're drinking soda, you're having multiple servings of soda or coffee in a day, and all of a sudden you start to feel this bubble up energy because you are wanting to get up and move around and things like that because of all the caffeine. Again, you have to watch the amount of caffeine intake that you have, because while it may make you look through records a lot more quicker, you got to watch your accuracy. And not only that, you're going to crash hard later when you get off of work. Maybe it will wear you out. So you really do have to watch your caffeine intake. Watch your water intake. I always tell people, drink water, because you will see other coders come in with their big cups and it's full of coffee or full of soda, and they don't drink water. You have to drink water. Your body needs water. So be sure to give yourself water breaks, okay? You have to be able to drink enough water so you stay hydrated, and it's going to help you to not feel so sluggish either, because you're giving your body what it needs, which is fluid, water, and eating right. If you're eating things that are fried or that are bad for you, that should be more of a treat, right? And so try to eat things that are a little bit more balanced. Not saying that you have to eat a salad every day, but do try to eat things that are going to be a little bit more healthier for you. And watch your portion sizes as well, because us having a sedentary job, and if you're not exercising, you can gain weight very quickly. I know, because it's happened to me before. And so you kind of have to watch what you do, because it's about paying attention to your body, and your body is going to react to stress a lot more quicker if you're not taking care of yourself. So again, good nutrition goes a long way. If you're not really sure about like what to eat and how to get to that good place where you're eating well, there's plenty of resources out there for you to check on. That's the great thing about the internet, or one of the great things about the internet, is that there's so many resources. YouTube has a lot of really good YouTubers that talk about nutrition. So that is something that if you're curious about that, you're interested in it, do your research and be able to find those things out. But using a little common sense when it comes to what you're eating goes a long way, okay? If you're not supposed to be eating a lot of things like bad foods, then you know what to do, okay? So cut it down a little bit. And not saying to eliminate it all, but do watch what you're eating, so that way it'll kind of help you along the way. The other side of the house is when I actually do get stressed out. When something happens and I have to be like, okay, what do I do? Because of course I've handled myself all the way up until this point, but then I start to feel this pressure and I start to feel stress. Whether it is from my boss is asking me to do a bunch of reports all at one time, because everything's an emergency. When you do get asked to do stuff, it is about taking one thing at a time. You can only do as much as you can when it comes to whatever assignments are giving you. do them and do them correctly, because there's no sense in trying to rush through a bunch of things and then it's all wrong anyway. Okay, so take your time and get it done right. If it's going to take a minute, it's going to take a minute to do. I mean, there is nothing that you can do at that point. Okay, but again, also reminding myself that it's not personal when I get a bunch of these things, or if I'm getting audits and I'm having to go back and formulate my argument and look up my research. This is about defending what I have coded and defending my thought process and everything else. If my thought process is faulty, if there is something wrong and the auditor is able to tell me why, then that's okay, because it's a learning opportunity. Okay, take things as a learning opportunity, especially in medical coding, because if you start taking it personally, like it's a personal attack, and even though the auditor has told you why and you still want to take it personally, you know, that's something that's going to give you a lot of stress if you don't start to manage it, which is why I'm telling you guys, don't take things personally when it comes to getting audits back and things like that. So with that said, the other thing is, when you feel like you're starting to get a lot of just pushback from your providers or pushback from your boss or something like that, take a break. Take a break, take a timeout. It is okay to call a timeout, especially if you are in a discussion that is getting more spirited. Start to think about those key moments when you're starting to feel things are getting a little bit more passionate and emotional. Take a time out and just say, you know what, I need to take a 5-minute break, because I need to think of something I want to say, but I want to say it properly and appropriately. So I'm going to take a time out for just a couple of minutes and I'll be right back. There is nothing wrong with doing that. I have had to pull that card a few times. When I have found that there have been situations that are a little bit more stressful, I say to myself, you know what? I need to take a time out. And I've been told, what? No. I said, I need a time out. I'm taking a time out right now. I said, because right now I feel myself getting emotional. And I said, I need to take a 5-minute break. And I said, I will come back, because that will give me time to formulate a clear and concise argument, rather than something that is not going to make sense because I'm too emotional at this moment. And so they said, okay. So then I'm able to come back. We're able to sort things out, rather than sit there and try to go back and forth when two people are already, you know, at that heightened part of a discussion. So it is a good thing to be able to do that. You do have that in your power to be able to say, I need a timeout. There is nothing wrong with that. And you ask any HR person, they will tell you, take a timeout. Rather than continue on in a conversation where there's two passionate people making two passionate arguments. You know, it is okay to do that. It's a very good indicator of you being able to manage your stress. And that is the key. This is the key to success, is the key to being professional in the work environment, is to be able to handle that stress. And especially when you can feel it coming on and you know it, it's a good time to say, okay, I need a timeout. Let me just take a time out here. Let me just take a break and come right back to it. The other part of it is, if it's starting to get to where it's so much, then I know I will have to schedule time during that month to take a break. They give us 2 weeks. They tell us we need 2 weeks notice if you are going to go take a day off or whatever. If you want to take leave or whatever. I do tell them, okay, and if I can feel myself getting where I'm like, okay, I'm starting to get tired, I'm starting to get more an emotional response quicker, I said, let me go ahead and take a day off. So I will schedule in 2.5 weeks or 2 weeks to the day of, I will put in for my leave and say, I need this day off. Because that's me, again, knowing how to handle my stress. I try to schedule 1 day off per month. Because of the simple fact that it does help me to decompress, and I know sometimes I don't, okay? It really all depends. Sometimes I will go a couple of months without taking a day off. So again, if you feel like you need to start to just take a day to yourself, that's okay, because it's better for you to do this and work with yourself and just take that day to just sleep in, or take that day to go and do something nice for yourself. And it doesn't have to, involve spending tons of money. It can be just as simple as going to a movie, or just going to get your hair cut or something like that. It is whatever it is that you want to do. Okay, some people do different things. I will go for a drive. That is what I do when I take days off like that. I will go for a drive, and a drive will probably be about an hour. Sometimes it's 2.5 hours. It really all depends on where I'm going, what I'm doing. Sometimes I will go out of town. It all depends, again, on how I feel and what I want to do. And so in those days where I go out of town, and I kind of spend the day out of town, and I'll go to one of my favorite cities because I'm pretty much in a centralized area. So it is easy for me to pick any city that I want to go to and just be able to just go and drive. For me, driving is a very relaxing activity because you get to see. You get to see everything, and you're out and about, and you are out of your normal element, and you get to spend some time in an area that you like, and you do different things. At least that's what I try to do. But that helps me. It does keep my stress level low because I do things like that. And I'll schedule that time for myself. And some people may say, well, Blue, I want to schedule time for my family. That's great. If you have a family and you want to do that, and you want to schedule a day off so that you can spend time with your family, by all means do that. If that is what helps you, great. If you have a pet that you want to spend time with, that's another thing too. There's nothing wrong with spending time with those that you love, okay? It actually does help us. It does help us to be able to calm down and stay relaxed and be grounded enough to be able to go back in and do what we need to do as medical coders. There is that thing that they say in the airport, right? Or in the airplanes when they're telling you to put the mask on yourself before you help others. This is that same thing. And for some people, they think, well, that it's just, it's too selfish of me to take a day off for myself. I can't do that. I have responsibilities. Again, if you put the mask on yourself and you're able to help yourself, you can help others. You're not going to help anybody else by being burnt out. And this is coming from somebody who works a full-time job, does tutoring, and has 2 medical coding channels, okay? I have my channel here, and I have my Patreon channel as well. So I have responsibilities. There's a lot of things that I do behind the scenes, and not that I'm telling you guys everything either. But there's a lot of things that I do, and trying to handle all of those things. Everybody has a different schedule, okay? But these are some of the things that I have done to learn to cope with all of this stress, because it can get stressful, but I do, my why is the same, right? I do have my why, and I focus on my why on those days when it does get hard. My why, if you don't know, if you haven't heard, I always talk about having your why. When things get stressful, when you feel like they're spiraling out of control, and you're like, oh man, I don't know if I can do this, and this is just so hard. You think about your why. Why are you doing this? For me, when it starts to get stressful, I think about, why am I doing this? My providers. They are my number one priority when it comes to my work as a medical coder. I think about them. And I think about all the hard work that I'm putting in to what they do, and to help them to be educated so that when they leave, if they go to another position, they are prepared. Because there is no guarantee that the coder that they're going to get at their next position is going to be a coder who is experienced and who knows, or even takes the time to really dig deep into their notes. There's no guarantee. I always hope that they have a high caliber medical coder like me, but there is no guarantee. So that's why I always say I want them to be educated. So that's why I stay on them. And because of that, it shows in their work. And that's what makes me proud. That's my why, and that's what keeps me going. So, but that is how I handle stress. And, you know, people handle it different ways. Some people cook. Some people will paint, like do drawings and things like that. That's always nice. I've gone to, what is those painting places where, you know, you eat food and you can paint and things like that. Oh, I forget. I don't know why. I just forgot what the name of it was. But anyway, some people will do that. If I did that, I'd have a house full of paintings, you know. But I will cook. One of the things that I love to do is cook. But I don't cook for myself. I hate cooking for myself. I will cook for myself, but I like cooking for a lot of people. And that is another way that I manage my stress. I used to cook a lot when I had my work son here. My work son is a young man that used to work at my facility. He doesn't work at our facility anymore. So I haven't really cooked since he left. And he left in the early part of the winter this year. So you know, it's just, I do cook, but again, it's going to be very sporadic now, now that he's gone. So, but anyway, that is one of the things that I wanted to share with you guys. And I hope that this has helped you or given you some idea. But if you are looking to start doing anything, you know, just pay attention to yourself, pay attention to your body. If you are starting to do a workout or something and it's too hard, stop, you know, just take the time and just relax, and it's okay. And if you want to change the way that you're eating, you know, get in touch with a nutritionist and see what the advice they can offer you. You know, it is about taking care of yourself so that way you can remain sharp. Because again, I've spent times where I wasn't taking care of myself and I could feel it and I felt sluggish on those days. So the best thing to do again is to listen to yourself. When you start to feel tired, take a break. And it doesn't matter what you're doing, you know, just take 5 minutes for yourself and give yourself that break, because the only one who can be kind to you really is yourself. So you really do need to pay attention to you, because you're going to be with yourself for your whole life. And the only one who can give yourself a break is you. Okay, so don't be too proud to take breaks, and you don't have to, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day. So just remember that things take time. Your knowledge base, growing your knowledge base takes time as well. So, and that's something that you can do little by little by little. Okay, so that's my episode for today. I'm gonna wrap this one up. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and I hope you'll like and subscribe if you haven't already. Share this if it helped you, because it may help somebody else. All right, so I will see y'all next time. Bye.